Excellent.
There are no rules but one. Drink Jägermeister at minus 18 degrees Celsius.
You spoke about Mongolia earlier, and is it true? Because in one show that goes on our national television, there's this guy who travels through the world, and he was in Mongolia actually, and he said there is literally just fields of boneyards of dinosaur fossils laying on the ground on the Mongolia. Is that true?
Yeah, it's I work on two of the greatest places in the world. I work in Alberta, Canada, and I work in Mongolia. And it's interesting because the reason I work on both of those in particular is because they're from the same time period and they have related dinosaurs. And so we find some kinds of dinosaurs that are preserved as whole skeletons in Mongolia that we only find little bits and pieces of in Alberta, and vice versa. And so if we want to understand what's going on at that time period, then working on both gives you a very different perspective. So in Alberta, we have literally millions of bones exposed at any one time.
Wow.
We can walk in, say, Dinosaur Provincial Park, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, there are places you can't step without stepping on dinosaur bone.
Wow.
And in the case of Mongolia, though, it's a little bit different because in Mongolia, the bone isn't quite as common, but the number of skeletons you find is much more common. So we've calculated that in Alberta, it takes on average about 4 man-months to find a dinosaur skeleton. So if you've got, say, one person walking around in Dinosaur Provincial Park, it'll take them 4 months to find a skeleton. If you have 4 people, then it'll only take a month rather than the other way around, right?
Yeah.
And but in Mongolia, we basically find a skeleton every day. It's less disarticulated bone and bone beds and things like that, isolated bones, but it's a lot more skeletons that we find there. And a skeleton a day is absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, in Mongolia, they are not as protected as in Alberta, right?
No,
So
well,
a lot of them got lost.
yeah, a lot got lost. We had a very bad period there from about 2000 to 2010, where poaching just went right through the roof in Mongolia. And we were finding dinosaurs on the markets worldwide. And we're still finding them, of course, because from that time period, so many dinosaurs were collected. And it was unfortunate because the way they collected them was not always very professional. In some cases, what they would do is find a skull. The skull would be smashed up so that they could just take the teeth, because they knew it was illegal for them to do that. But the teeth bring a lot of money too. So if they smashed up the dinosaur and took the teeth, then the teeth could be sold. They would make money on it, and that was unfortunate. So it was really sad for us who worked in Mongolia to see all these damaged specimens. And in some cases, like I said, they would destroy a specimen just to get the teeth. In other cases, they would destroy it to get the skull or the hands or the feet. But in other cases, they actually collected the whole specimen. And we're pretty convinced that hundreds of specimens, in fact, were collected in that time period.
We stay genuine, uncensored and unscripted, and we always will, as we have to order our usual. Share us and subscribe us, and stay tuned until the next Wednesday. Ikuzo!